Okay, guys, so I'm going to talk through this assessment. So this is the Propagation-A how-to resource assessment. So this is a 3.0 assessment is what I want to stress first. You're going to research a specific type of plant propagation techniques. So you're going to look into what's a plant that can be propagated and is pretty common for propagating because you want multiple resources. It doesn't matter whether you propagate it through a seed or asexually. That doesn't matter. But what you're going to do is you're going to create a resource for how-to guide. You must link the resources you research into the worksheet document. I'm going to show you the research document. Or I'm going to show you the worksheet document, but you have to link every single site that you use onto this document. The resource you create can be a video, a blog, a handout, but it cannot, however, be a Google slide presentation or a step-by-step on Google Doc. So I'm expecting a little bit higher quality, so no Google slides and not just a document with step-by-step instructions and pictures. No, I want a little bit better quality. So I've attached some great examples of resources that your project can be modeled after. So I looked up specifically the spider plant, so you cannot choose the spider plant. But there was a great video right there and a great blog that you can kind of look through. This is the worksheet document that I was talking about in the first one. So you need to list all your resources here. You can just do that in bullet form and just copy and paste the resources that you're using. This is pretty much just so I can look through them and make sure you're not copying and pasting and all that fun stuff. And then here's where I want you to identify what type of resource you're going to create. So if you're going to do a video, if you're going to do a handout, if you're going to do a blog, just so I know when I go into looking at it that this is what it's supposed to look like. And then the resource you create, you're going to hyperlink right here so that when I open this doc, this is what you're going to submit to Empower. I can just click through all these links and see everything right there. So that is what you're going to do with that. So here's some information about what I kind of want. So your resource should have the following information. So the one you create should have general information about your plant. So scientific name, common name, general growth pattern, basic care info, and best propagation method and why this is the best. So you're just going to kind of fill it with a little bit of info and a little bit of just stuff general about the plant. And then you're going to give step-by-step instructions for propagating your plant. If you're going to do a seed, you need seed spacing, depth, environmental conditions, anything specific that the person needs to know. So some plants have certain quirks that you kind of have to know. Putting on a heat pad, not putting on a heat pad, watering, all those things are just kind of things that you need to know about that plant. Asexual propagation, if you go that way, what type of propagation? So is it a cutting? Is it a graft? Whatever it is, step-by-step instructions. So removing of the plant material, preparing it, completing the propagation, and then aftercare of that propagation. So after you have it completed, how do you kind of care for that propagated piece? Okay, specific instructions for the type of resource. So if you're going to do a video, I think that's a great idea if you would rather talk through it. Select a video that you feel goes over every important step of the propagation you're doing. So let's say you find a video and it talks great about every single step of propagation, but it doesn't talk about that like right? General information, that's okay because you're going to write a script for a voiceover. So you can always have the video paused in the beginning, do your general information that you need to do, and then hit play and go on to the cutting. So once you have your video kind of picked, you can you're going to prepare your own script for what you're going to say over the video. And then you're going to use Screencastify. You're going to play the video in the background on mute, and you're going to voice over with your own information. And then you're going to upload that Screencastify to me, okay? So I want the Screencastify, not the video that you found on YouTube, okay? If you're going to do a blog, you can create a Google Doc, set it up similar to the blog that I gave as a resources. You don't have to put all the ads and all that if you want to. I mean, I think it'd be funny, but you don't have to put all the ads and that stuff in there. And then make sure you have lots of pictures with instructions. So pull from multiple different resources. Please don't just find one blog and be like, oh, this is perfect, and just pretty much copy it onto a Google Doc. That's not the game. So find multiple resources, insert multiple different pictures. Maybe one's got really good description, but the other one has better pictures. Maybe one talks better about one thing than other. So mush multiple blogs together. Don't just copy and paste one. And then the last one is a handout. So this should be laid out more like you would hand this out to a people, maybe as you sell them a plant. While this should have all information before, like everything that would be on any other one needs to be on this, it should be more compact and short and sweet. So the other ones, they're going to be fluffier. You're going to have more information because you're filling time or you're filling space. A handout is going to be more compact. Not saying it's easier, you just not as much wording, not as much, just much short and sweet. Okay. You also need to give pictures, for example, to people to follow. And I highly recommend making this on Google Draw and having two to show the two sides of the handout. So your handout definitely can be two sides. So you could just do two separate Google Draws. And I would label them or name them side one, side two. That way I can see that there's two separate ones. Okay, hopefully this helps. If you have questions, please ask. Not now because I can't reply, but you know what I mean.